Hey guys, I want to give you a little bit of insight on the Asia trip for Trump. Today, I'd like to speak about the recent overseas tour of President Donald J. Trump in Asia, an ambitious journey that sought to reshape the United States engagement in the region and send a signal of renowned American leadership. President Trump embarked on a 5-day tour across Asia, beginning in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and includes visits to Japan and South Korea. The mission had several intertwined goals: revisiting the United States' relationship with the region's major players, advancing trade economic agreements, especially as a counterbalance to China's influence, and engaging in diplomacy and conflict resolution, including efforts to broker peace in the regional disputes. Shortly after arriving in Malaysia, President Trump announced a flurry of trade accords with Russia, Asian nations. For example, deals with Malaysia and Cambodia were finalized, and frameworks with Thailand and Vietnam were advanced. The agreements seek to give the United States increased access to critical minerals and raw materials, reducing dependency on China's supply chains. One of the more conspicuous moments was the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia. It is a ceremony in Kuala Lumpur where President Trump played a prominent role. He described as an example of the United States stepping in to prevent conflict escalation, a key part of his administration's message. The United States and China trade diplomacy is part of the tour broader backdrop. The U.S. and Chinese trade officials reached a preliminary consensus ahead and planned a meeting between the Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Ahead of the planned meeting, President Trump expressed confidence of a deal. "I think we're going to have a deal," says Trump. Implications and the significance of the economic strategy shift. By locking in deals with Southeast Asia nations, and the U.S. is signaling that Asia is not just about China, but a broader region where America intends to assert influence and secure supply chains. Diplomatic re-engagements. Trump's active role in the Thailand-Cambodia border dispute emphasizes a pivot toward conflict resolution and regional stability. Let's see here. Not purely transactional trade diplomacy. The geopolitical messaging that trip sends a message that both allies and the rivals of the United States is invested in Asia. At the same time, it challenges China's dominance in critical minerals, technology, supply chains, and regional partnerships. For the United States, such international engagements feeds a narrative about global leadership, trade wins, and national strength, all important for the administration's political calculus. Now we're going to discuss the implementations and risks. Announcing frameworks is one thing, executing them, especially trade deals involving sensitive minerals and manufacturing, is another. Balancing allies. While engaging China, the United States must reassure partners like Japan and South Korea about security commitments, especially regarding Taiwan and regional defense. Some nations may view U.S. promises with caution. After all, trade and military commitments have been mixed historically. The United States has demonstrated consistency. Trade policies that threaten tariffs or shift supply chains may generate pushback from domestic industries or workers adversarially affected. In summary, President Trump's Asia trip is a bold effort to reposition the United States in a vast changing region by combining trade diplomacy and strategic messaging. The administration seeks to weave a new architecture of influence across Southeast Asia and beyond. Whether the announced deals translate into sustained partnerships remains to be seen. But the tour undeniably marks a significant moment in U.S. foreign policy towards Asia. All these trade deals and meetings around the agreements gives him to secure critical minerals like rare earths, lithium, and nickel, which are essential for batteries, defense systems, and electronics. Regarding U.S. dependence on China, by reshaping trade routes through Southeast Asia, the United States gains greater economic leverage. The trip asserts America's presence in the Indo-Pacific, reminding the Allies that the U.S. is still the major power of the region. Hosting and brokering a ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia enhances the United States' image as a peacemaker and a reliable mediator. This builds diplomatic goodwill and helps counterbalance China's growing domestic dominance in the region. Close ties to countries like Japan and South Korea strengthen the U.S. defense network in East Asia. These partnerships are key to containing threats from North Korea and ensuring freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, a vital trade route for global commerce. Successful trade and peace initiatives can bolster investors' confidence, potentially creating jobs in the U.S. industries linked to exports and resource processing. Politically, it reinforces an image of strong leadership abroad, which can help strengthen the administration's domestic support as well. President Trump's Asia trip benefits the United States by expanding trade opportunities, securing vital resources, strengthening alliances, and enhancing American influence in one of the world's most strategically important regions, and geopolitical investments in the country's future power and prosperity, which would likely be condensed altogether. It's beneficial for us all. That ending was a little